Good morning, everybody. You are now listening to the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I am your host, Lara Ziccardi. Joined with me today is my lovely co-host, Amanda Gaudiosi, our segment host, Nicole Passaro, and our sportscaster, Tomo Izuski. I did it. Yeah. So welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. We have some major news that broke yesterday about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Please stay tuned for we're going to be talking about what she has done for her 96 years of living. And stay tuned because we have 2 interviews with some students. But without further ado, we have a newscast to get to. So Nicole, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm going to be telling you the weather for today, which is sunny, 58 degrees right now, and a high of 82 and a low of 58. The newscast is yesterday, the Michigan Supreme Court ordered that a citizen initiative ballot measure seeking to enshrine abortion rights to the state constitution be added to the November ballot. The court's 5-2 ruling was issued the day before Michigan's ballot needs to be finalized on Friday. Police in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School in May, said they were investigating a shooting at Uvalde Memorial Park last night. 2 juveniles were injured and being treated at San Antonio hospitals, according to a statement from the Uvalde Police Department. The Texas Department of Public Safety said that the shooting is suspected to be gang-related. In New Jersey, a Warren Hills Regional High School 9th grader collapsed Wednesday afternoon during an athletic practice, but school personnel acted quickly and the student was flown to a hospital. Officials said yesterday that the student was brought by helicopter to Morristown Medical Center and is doing well. The Montclair local is street artist Jerkface finishes wall in Montclair. SpongeBob SquarePants has Homer Simpson's mouth. Homer is wearing Charlie Brown's zigzag streaks shirt. Kermit the Frog masked like a teenage mutant ninja turtle, and more. The mural is located at 131 Glenridge Avenue.
Thank you, Nicole. That was amazing.
Back to you. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyway, we have some sports to get to. So Ben, whenever you're ready, please
Thank
take
you,
it
Lara.
away. Of course.
So we had a great night of sports on Thursday night, and there's tons to talk about with the start of the professional football season headlining the action. So we had the Buffalo Bills, who are the favorites to win it all this season, taking on the reigning champion Los Angeles Rams. And with a near perfect game from quarterback Josh Allen, the Bills dominated this game and won by a score of 31-10. The first half was tight, but from the second half on, nothing just seemed to be clicking for the Rams, and the Bills spoiled the Rams' ring night, holding them to 0 second half points. Now we'll move on to some professional baseball. We had the New York Yankees in action on Thursday night against the Minnesota Twins, who is a team that desperately needs every win as we near the end of the season. The final score was 4-3 Twins and was really tight all the way to the end. The New York Mets were off on Thursday as they were traveling down to Miami for a 3-day weekend series with the Marlins starting tonight. And now on to some Montclair sports news to wrap things up. The men's soccer team took the field Thursday night against the across the United States in Laverne, California, to do battle against the Laverne Panthers. The Red Hawks were victorious, winning by a score of 1-0, and the lone goal scorer being senior defenseman Ian Chesney, his first of the season. That's all for sports for now. Back to you, Lara.
Thank you so much, you guys. And we are going to dive right in to what has been going on in the UK. And we have the latest update on the story of Queen Elizabeth II, who has passed yesterday. So according to the New York Times, Buckingham Palace said the Queen, who was just 96, died peacefully at Balmoral Castle, her estate in the Scottish Highlands yesterday, September 8th, 2022. Her son became Britain's new monarch, King Charles III. At 96 and visibly frail, and having survived multiple health scares, the Queen had been in the twilight of her reign for some years. But her news of death still landed with a thunderclap across the British realm and the world, where the Queen has revered figure and an anchor for stability. In itself, the Queen's death was a watershed moment, but it also comes at a time of acute uncertainty for Britain. A new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, has been in office for only 3 days now, following months of a political turmoil in the British government. According to the New York Times, the government faces its gravest economic threats in a generation, beset by an inflation, soaring energy bills, and the specter of a prolonged recession. And with that being said, we are going to honor Queen Elizabeth II here this morning, and we are going to start with a deep dive of her time with us.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go right on into her life. So in honor of the late Queen here on the Morning Buzz, we will be looking back at Her Majesty's time with the UK and the world. According to a timeline from The Guardian, Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor was born on April 21st, 1926. At this time, she was third in line to the throne behind her father and Edward, Prince of Wales. 4 years later, her sister Princess Margaret Rose was born. January 20th, 1936, George V dies and Edward VIII becomes king. Later on that year, on December 10th, Edward abdicated so that he could marry the American divorcee Wallis Simpson. The next day, Bertie, the Duke of York, is formally proclaimed King George VI, and Princess Elizabeth is now heiress presumptive. September 3rd, 1939, Britain declares war on Germany, causing Britain to be involved in World War II. Just a few days after, the Blitz on London begins. While the King and Queen stay in the city, Elizabeth and Margaret are evacuated to Windsor. The next month, Elizabeth makes her first broadcast to the nation on the radio.
So we're going to be continuing on from that timeline from The Guardian. And in March of 1945, Elizabeth joins the Auxiliary Territorial Service, learning how to drive and maintain vehicles. And on May 8th, 1945, Victory Day in Europe has taken place. In 1947, Elizabeth made her first overseas visit to South Africa and gave a speech dedicating herself to the Commonwealth. That same year, in July, Buckingham Palace announced the engagement of Princess Elizabeth to Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten, and they were married in Westminster Abbey on November 20th, 1947. He is henceforth known as Duke of Edinburgh. On November 14th, 1948, Prince Charles was born. Moving on to the 1950s. On August 5th, 1950, Princess Anne, now Princess Royal, was born. On February 6, 1952, George VI passed away and Elizabeth II succeeded to the throne. She is in Kenya when her father passes. She was the first British monarch since King George I to be out of the country at a time of succession. The next year, on June 2nd, 1953, the coronation of Elizabeth II at Westminster Abbey took place and was the first televised coronation service. November of 1956, Britain and France invaded Egypt and botched the attempt to seize control of the Suez Canal. Lord Mountbatten later claimed the Queen disapproved of the venture.
Moving on to the 60s, on February 16th, 1960, Prince Andrew, now the Duke of York, was born. In May 1965, the Queen visited West Germany, the first British monarch to do so since the First World War. In 1969, the first broadcast of Royal Family, a documentary with unprecedented access to the family's daily life. November 1975, the Queen refuses to intervene in an Australian constitutional crisis when the Prime Minister, Gough Whitlam, is dismissed by the Governor-General Sir John Kerr. Finishing the 70s off, Lord Mountbatten, Prince Philip's uncle, is killed by an IRA bomb off the coast of Sligo in the west of Ireland, and Sir Anthony Blunt, the former surveyor of the Queen's pictures, is exposed as a communist spy. Starting on February 24th, 1981, Prince Charles announced his engagement to Lady Diana Spencer. June 13th, 1981, June shots are fired at the Queen as she attends Trooping the Colour. On July 29th, 1981, Charles and Diana married in St. Paul's Cathedral in London.
A few years later, it's the 1990s. On June 7th, 1992, the first installment of the serialization of Andrew Morton's book, Diana, Her True Story, appears in the Sunday Times, revealing that Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles continued to have an affair during his marriage to Diana, that Diana attempted suicide and also had bulimia. It larger emerges that of all the information had been supplied by Diana herself. The same year, on November 20th, Windsor Castle was partially destroyed by a fire. In April of 1993, Buckingham Palace opened to the general public for the first time to help fund the restoration of Windsor Castle. August 28th, 1996, Charles and Diana's marriage is dissolved. And a few days later, nope, just kidding. Actually, a whole year later, on August 31st, 1997, Diana passes away in a car crash in Paris. The Queen says in seclusion for several days and has been heavily criticized in the press for her silence. Then on the eve of Diana's funeral, she does a walkabout to meet mourners outside of Buckingham Palace and gives the televised address saying, quote, "She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, nor inspire others with her warmth and kindness." On February 19th, 2002, Princess Margaret passed away, and at the end of March the same year, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, passed as well. Right now here on the Morning Buzz, we are going to take a very short break, and we will see you very soon. This is God Save the Queen by Queen. Welcome back here on the Morning Buzz. It is currently 7:13 a.m. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we are honoring Queen Elizabeth II. And to continue on with our stories for today, we're going to be continuing to talk about Queen Elizabeth.
Yes, so we're jumping right back into her life, and now we're going to go to the 2010s. On October 14th, 2010, the Queen canceled a planned Christmas party at Buckingham Palace after deciding it would be inappropriate to celebrate as Britons feel the effects of the economic crisis. During 3 days in May, the Queen visited Ireland, becoming the first British monarch to do so since its independence in 1921. She expresses sympathy to those who suffered during hundreds of years of conflict between the two neighbors. In 2012, the Queen opened the London Olympics. The succession to the Crown Act 2013 receives royal assent and passes on April 25th. The eldest child inherits the throne regardless of gender. The act also ends the disqualification from the line of succession of a person married to a Catholic. July 22nd, 2013, the Duchess of Cambridge gives birth to Prince George. He is third in line to the throne. May 25th, 2015, the Duchess of Cambridge gives birth to Princess Charlotte. She is fourth in line to the throne. In the same year, the Queen surpasses her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, and becomes Britain's longest ever reigning monarch. In 2017, at age 96, Prince Philip, age 96, retired from his official duties as the Queen's consort. The same year, the Queen and Prince Philip celebrate their platinum wedding anniversary after 70 years of marriage. She is the first British monarch to do so. May 19th, 2018, Prince Harry, sixth in line to the throne, marries Meghan Markle at St. George Chapel, Windsor Castle. A year later, the Duchess of Sussex gave birth to a son in 2019. His name is Archie. In the end of 2019, the Queen, in effect, suspends Prince Andrew from duties by giving him permission to, quote, step back from public duties for the foreseeable future, after intense public reaction to a BBC Newsnight interview about his friendship with a convicted child sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein.
We are no stranger to the year 2020, and so far in 2022, 2 years later, things just seem to get crazier. But we're going to start off in 2020. In January, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced they will step back from their roles in a public life as senior members of the royal family and will also divide their time between the UK and North America. The couple confirmed they will become financially independent and cease to represent the Queen. In March of 2020, the Queen and Prince Philip moved to Windsor Castle in a sequester. There is a precaution as the coronavirus hits the UK. Public engagements are canceled, and Windsor Castle follows a strict sanitary protocol nicknamed the HMS bubble. In April, that same year, the Queen gave a rare televised address to the nation, the fifth in her 68-year reign at the time, and as unprecedented lockdown was enforced. The monarch thanks her subjects for following government rules to stay home, praises key workers, and asks people to take comfort during this time. The broadcast is watched by an estimated 24 million viewers. In March of 2021, the Duchess of Sussex participates in a hotly anticipated interview with Oprah Winfrey. She claims members of the royal family had openly expressed concern about how dark her son Archie's skin would be, and says that they had tried to deny him a royal title. Both Meghan and Prince Harry make a point of praising the Queen and instead directing their criticism towards the royal household. 2 days later, the Queen issues a statement saying the issues raised, particularly of that race, are concerning, and that some recollections may vary. In April of 2021, Prince Philip dies peacefully at the age of 99 at Windsor Castle, 2 months before his 100th birthday. Prince Philip is the longest-serving royal consort in history.
In January of 2022, Prince Andrew is completely removed from royal life. The Queen strips him of his military affiliations and royal patronages. The palace also says that he will not use the style of His Royal Highness in any official capacity. The next month, Prince Andrew settles the sexual assault case filed against him by Virginia Goffrey for an undisclosed sum, avoiding having to give evidence in a trial and protecting the royal family from further reputational damage. The beginning of June, the Queen celebrated her Platinum Jubilee after a record 70 years on the throne. Just 3 days ago, on September 6th, the Queen broke the tradition as a result of her ongoing mobility issues and appointed the 15th Prime Minister of her reign, Liz Truss, at Balmoral Castle rather than Buckingham Palace. The outgoing Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, also travels to Scotland to offer his resignation to the Queen. The following day, she postpones a Privy Council meeting, which she was due to attend virtually, under doctors' advice to rest.
Here in the US, our thoughts and our prayers are with the royal family and the people of the United Kingdom. This has been news that not only shook the UK, but has shaken in the entire world. And with that being said, we are with the people all over the world, and some may even say across the universe. This is Across the Universe by the Beatles. on Zoom. I also forgot to mention that she was a UK correspondent during the Morning Buzz for fall 2021. So Mia, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Morning Buzz.
Oh, yeah, it's great
Hold
to
on,
be
my
here.
Zoom feeder's up. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so hi, I'm Mia. I'm here to report the passing of Her Majesty the Queen at age 96. Queen Elizabeth was surrounded by her family at Balmoral Castle in Scotland on Thursday, 8th of September, when the flag atop Buckingham Palace was lowered to half-mast to signify and respect Her Majesty's passing. The entirety of the UK was at a standstill as Buckingham Palace posted notice outside the gates announcing the death of Queen Elizabeth II. The longest reigning monarch's life has been a whirlwind of duty, from meeting her first Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, in 1952 to meeting her first Prime Minister, her last Prime Minister, Liz Truss, only 2 days before the Queen's passing. Right now, all radio stations are playing somber music, TV staff and crew are wearing all black. The BBC, Sky and ITV are going through a full day of correspondence regarding the Queen. Even non-royalists are appreciating the tremendous hard work, loyalty and dedication Her Majesty the Queen has committed to this country. Not only was the Queen working 2 days before her passing, she also met her 15 Prime Ministers every week over the past 70 years. This year is incredibly poignant as it marks 1 year after Prince Philip's death, who was her one true love, 20 years after her sister and mother's death, and 25 years after Princess Diana's death, whom also had the world in mourning. One particular detail that is remarkable to me is that Her Majesty the Queen is the longest reigning monarch, so much so that her first Prime Minister was born 101 years before her last Prime Minister. Queen Elizabeth has been reigning for almost 5 generations. Great Britain is certainly mourning the passing of Queen Elizabeth the Great.
Thank you so much, Mia. And if you don't mind, we actually have a few questions for you about, honestly, this event that actually took place. So we read before that you're getting ready to study psychology for your master's, which is absolutely amazing. Congratulations on graduating as well.
Thank you.
Of course. But the real question I really wanted to ask you is, how does this news really affect the royal families and even the citizens' mental health?
Gosh, I can't imagine what the royals are going through, because we obviously know about the royals, and there's a when you think about people who are famous, celebrities, rich, even royal, some people don't really see them as people. They don't see them as humans, and they don't see them as experiencing the same emotions or the same everyday issues that everyone else experiences. And I actually thought recently, Queen Elizabeth, she was on the throne for 70 years, and I can't imagine the amount of stress she had been going through for those 70 years, to be in charge of a whole country, as well as visiting other countries and other royals. And I can't imagine. I wouldn't say I'm a royalist, but I definitely see the royals as human beings still. So I can't imagine what their mental health is like right now. I just hope that they're spending as much time with each other as possible and supporting each other as well.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. That's really awesome. Honestly, going along with that, loss affects everyone, not just royals, not just celebrities, but everyday people. So what type of advice would you give to anyone who is suffering from loss?
Gosh. I wouldn't. I've never been in a situation where someone really close to me has died. I don't want to go and say the usual, like, it gets better and all of that, because at that time, in that moment, it doesn't feel like it's going to get better. It will always sit in the back of your mind, and it will always affect you. In having such a big loss will always affect you. So it does get better with time, but you have to give it time, basically.
You definitely have to, and loss is not an easy thing to cope with in this world, because it's a feeling that you can't really just put into words. It's like a weight that's kind of just sitting on your chest. And again, thoughts and prayers to everybody involved with this.
Yeah.
But I do have a very interesting question for you, still regarding that psychology aspect.
Yeah.
How do you think this will affect Charles' ruling as of now?
Gosh.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm hitting you with the really deep questions.
No, it's, well, just like when Prince Philip died, the Queen, she had to just get on with her duties. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that the royals learn very early on, is that no matter what, they still have that image to uphold. Like, obviously they still have that time of mourning. That's why we're having a nationwide 10 days of mourning right now. But he will be mourning now, and it'll get to a certain point where he will be thinking, right, I have a job to do now. I'm now king. I'm King Charles III. So I have a job to do. I have to carry on my mother's legacy.
You're definitely right. And I actually wanted to ask you a little follow-up question about the 10 days. What's involved with that?
I can't remember exactly where the Queen, where she gets moved to, but I know that the royal staff and the government as well, in the first 36 hours, they prepare for condolences, people paying their respects. I know that it's difficult to not get the two operations mixed up, because currently there was an operation called London Bridge, which I think that was formed in the late 1900s. But there's also Operation Unicorn, which is currently what they're going through now, which was formed in 2019, which is a lot more recent than Operation London Bridge. And they have the 10 days before the funeral for mourning. All the royal family have a private train to move Queen Elizabeth from Scotland back to London, I believe, where I can't remember exactly where she's going to be buried. I cannot remember. But there'll also be a big book as well, where loads of people who know the Queen, who've been knighted by the Queen as well, whoever wants to pay their respects to the Queen will sign this book to just say thank you, basically, for everything, for the last 70 years.
It was a long time. Honestly, I think it was about, I'm 20 years old. It was about a quarter of a time I've been alive. And it's just so crazy to think about. And not only has she been such a long reigning monarch, but she's also lived through so much history and has gone through so much media. Like, media has just been growing and forming ever since she was in reign. That's really crazy to think about. And I noticed you're a graduate of a media student, so I did not want to leave media out of the way, so I just wanted to mention that. But Mia, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Morning Buzz. We really appreciate your time, and we're wishing well wishes to you and your country.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, you guys, we are going to take a very short break here on the Morning Buzz, and we will be right back. 5 a.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. But stay tuned because next up we have another interview featuring a student. But for now, we're going to be covering some top news. So Amanda, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so definitely different than what we've just been talking about. So, according to the Justice Department's court filing yesterday, the hundreds of pages of classified government records seized from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate last month are not the former president's personal records, as he has no right to possess them. According to NBC News, the Justice Department will appeal U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon's ruling for a special master to look at the documents seized during the search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The Justice Department said it will file its appeal to the United States Courts of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. The department also asked for a partial stay of Cannon's ruling, which will appeal its pending, saying that, quote, the government and the public are irreparably injured when a criminal investigation of matters involving risk to national security is enjoined. Parts of Cannon's rulings, specifically those enjoining the government from doing anything with the classified records is seized, would cause the most immediate and serious harms to the government and the public. The government also wrote in an eyebrow-raising line that the injunction could, quote, impede efforts to identify the existence of any additional classified records that are not being properly stored.
I'm tired of talking about this man. I said it. I'm tired of it. Because, do you know why?
Why?
It's because we have more important issues to talk about. And
we do.
joined with us today is another student from the UK. This is Meg Lintern, and she is she is a second-year history student at Oxford University and is senior editor at Cherwell, which is the university's oldest student newspaper. So Meg, thank you so much for joining us today on this Friday morning on the Morning Buzz.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to ask you, we're no stranger to what's going on in the UK right now, but I wanted to get your opinion about what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Across the UK right now, and really across most of the world, the death of the Queen is a really, really significant moment. In Britain, we've essentially had the changeover of Prime Minister and the changeover of a monarch in the same week. So it's really significant political stuff happening over here at the moment. And ultimately, wherever you are, I think it's quite hard to escape the sense of mourning and sense of real gravity of everything that's going on really in Britain at the moment. As a student, I think much of the student population and much of my generation isn't as attached to the idea of monarchy as our parents, our grandparents, etc. Much more leaning towards liberal and almost Republican kind of ideas about how this country should look. However, from a historical perspective, from a national perspective, in terms of national identity, I think it's still really important to recognize what the Queen contributed to our country. And I think even I am kind of shocked by how much her death means to me and how much I'm trying to calibrate, what the future of the country will look like, what the face of the country will look like now that we don't have her as this figurehead.
Yeah, for sure. I know, like you just said, you were surprised with how you felt. Even me here in the United States, when I heard the news, I was shocked. I was not expecting it. So I know we're all with you guys and we all definitely feel the same way. But like you said, there's been a lot of changes. And has there been any significant changes ever since the news broke out at your university?
At my university, a lot of the universities have bell towers, they're ringing bells, there are flags at half-mast everywhere. There are general commemoration services popping up across the UK, and lots of community is gathering to sort of celebrate her life and also commemorate her death. At Oxford itself, there's more of a turbulent relationship with the monarchy. In 2021, one of the most famous colleges removed its portrait of the Queen from its sort of common rooms. And in 2021, in the same year, the Oxford Union, which is the debating house, actually voted to abolish the monarchy in a sort of mock debate. So it's not seen as such a sort of patriotic mainstay within my university. And events like the Jubilee really aren't celebrated to the same extent within student environments as they are within rural communities and older generational communities. However, as I say, I think there's still this sense of huge historical significance as we're living through the new reign of Charles III, which even to say sounds like a really big deal. And I think every student, especially somewhere as historical as Oxford, which has seen many monarchs come and go, it's really hard to escape this, the sense of significance.
100%. And I also wanted to ask you, I know you're also a history student, but I also want to bring it back to media as well. I definitely want to talk about how she's been a media sensation around the world ever since her coronation in 1952. So this woman has lived through so much history. And now that King Charles III has just, pretty much happened, how do you guys feel about all this?
Again, it's a very sensitive question in the country. The Queen was kind of immune of huge amounts of public criticism. She was seen as someone to look up to in general because of her work ethic, because of the fact that she's generally just been a good representation of Britishness. People are quite happy to have her as this reflection of, the public image, especially as a woman. I think she led to a lot of changes in how women were perceived in roles of power. However, we've got coming onto the scene, as you say, Charles III, and his reputation has been less than spotless. The memory of Diana is still very much part of public rhetoric here in the UK, as across much of the world. And there are a lot of people who don't really forgive him or can't excuse him for the fallout of that marriage. At the same time, we obviously have Prince Andrew and we have the recent Megxit scandal. So the royal family has really been absolutely mired in this sort of horrible mass of public disaster over the recent couple of years. And it's going to be really interesting to see how King Charles can navigate that, because I don't think the media is going to be that sensitive towards him after this 10 days of mourning has passed.
100%.
Oh, no, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. But so kind of going on with the media sides of things and going back to your university, how does this breaking news affect journalism students at Oxford?
It's an interesting one because there are very different perspectives on how it should be portrayed. So when we found out about the news, there was automatically this conversation about how do we want to present it? Do we want to commemorate the Queen and her actions, especially because she is associated, as I say, by many at the university with this very negative light of imperialism, which we don't want to be commemorating. But at the same time, as any media platform, it's pretty impossible to ignore the death of a monarch. So we at Cherwell haven't actually decided yet how we're going to sort of commemorate her death, apart from obviously the brief coverage of, she has died. But it's going to be an interesting one to tackle, and also an interesting one, as I'm sure we'll get some articles prophesizing how King Charles's reign is going to look. But every different segment of student journalism does seem to have taken a different line, with some staying completely silent, some choosing to really glorify her and remember her, and others waiting for the initial period of grief to pass so that they can potentially reflect more of a critical lens. So I'm interested to see how that all pans out. But within the first sort of 24, 48 hours, I think everyone's so sensitive to nationwide mourning that really not much is being said.
Yeah, 100%. It's a worldwide shock. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of hate that I'm asking this question because it is so early on. But I really wanted to ask, what do you think the Queen's legacy will be?
Yeah, I think the Queen's legacy will be a positive one because, as I've said, she has managed to stay relatively immune to public scandal. Whilst people in the media in particular have attacked her son, Prince Andrew, have attacked Harry and Meghan, have attacked many elements of the royal family, whether that's because of a great press team behind her or because of public opinion, I really can't tell, but she's managed to kind of float above this level of drama that's been raging on beneath her. I think that she has obviously been centre point to many, many significant moments in British history, even from the fact that she's on the pound, she's on coins, she's on everything. She's a very recognisable figure. I think that she'll probably be the last monarch to be remembered in such a positive light and to really be an emblem of Britishness, because to be honest, I reckon that Prince Charles is going to have much less of a positive impression, and I don't think that he's going to be seen as such a sort of icon of the UK.
Definitely, 100%. I'll be honest, and I'm sure you know this, he has very large shoes to fill.
For sure, for sure. So are you guys surprised at the repercussions around the world that, we feel as if our grandmother passed away? Honestly, it came as a huge shock. So are you like surprised?
It's definitely interesting to see how much there's been a massive reaction across the rest of the world. Britishness has kind of faded from the world stage, if that makes sense. Like, we're much less significant now as opposed to 50, 60, 70 years ago. However, the Queen is still this hugely well-known figure. She's been the person that we've sent out on world tours. She's been the person who has represented the UK on Commonwealth tours, etc., etc. But the sort of positivity behind the reaction to her death has probably been the most surprising, because, as I say, here in the UK, there are lots of elements of monarchy and of her rule that people look on unfavorably. So to see her being commemorated in such a positive light is something that I think we can be proud of and grateful for. And to be honest, it's nice to see this sort of outpouring of respect towards her, because I do think that she was generally a really impressive role model and did a lot of really cool things during her time on the throne.
She definitely did. And especially for women, like, as a woman, she was so strong and tough, and she put the crown ahead of her family, ahead of her children. And she's such a strong woman that I feel like all women around the world looked up to and will still continue to look up to today. Sometimes here in the US, I think we feel that we could use a person to represent and respected all people and all that. And I actually wanted to ask you about little Paddington. So Paddington on Twitter wrote, "Thank you, madam." And how has that been received over in the UK?
I guess it's these two absolute quintessentially British figures that people still manage to love, having this sort of merging of moments. Everybody loves Paddington, and in a similar way, the Queen has a sort of aura around her that people just are drawn towards. And so it is sad, for sure. It's actually really touching, even the fact that Paddington's obviously not this real figure, but just what he represents, what both of them represent. It really does symbolize how we're going through this moment of immense change, of drastic overhaul. And yeah, as you say, she became this icon for women across the world at a time when really women's rights were still only just beginning to gain prevalence on the political stage. And she's really overseen that transition. And as you say, she's been a fantastic role model, having this position as superior to her husband, her being the Queen and her husband being a prince. That's phenomenally important. And I think the legacy of that has really contributed to where we are now in terms of how we see working women, and hopefully will continue to do so long into the future.
I 100% agree with you. And just so you guys know, you are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, but that does not mean we are done yet. So our lovely general manager, Professor Poland, is in our Discord chat right now, and she just sent us a screenshot of something on Instagram by Helen. Excuse me, let me get this quick. Helen Morton said it best. They said, quote, "I am proud to be Elizabethan. We mourn a woman who, with or without the crown, was an opponent to nobility." And again, to women everywhere, she is such a role model. And I can't even really put it into words, because this comes from a time when, like you said, women didn't have a lot of rights. And while we made so much progress, sometimes it feels like we're going backwards just a little bit. And having another strong woman not with us in this world anymore really hurts. Definitely, definitely. Well, Meg, thank you so much for joining us this morning here on the Morning Buzz. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed having a conversation with you.
I honestly loved it. It was amazing.
Great conversation.
Definitely was. Anyway, we have some more news to get to, which is actually really crazy. So, Nicole, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours for the newscast. Sorry to throw you off guard there.
No, you're good. Let's get to it. So, some extended weather is we step foot into another rainy day, as today we have a high of 72 and a low of 61, humidity at 78%, followed by a high of 80 and a low of 59. On Thursday, with cloudy skies and into the weekend, we will have just the right temperature to relax and enjoy the last of summer weather, as we will be in the low 80s, and then as well with a high of 81 and a low of 60 on Friday, a high of 84 and a low of 63 on Saturday, with sunny skies, and a high of 83 and a low of 64 on Sunday, with mostly cloudy skies.
Newscast. We have some more news regarding that newscast. Just give me 1 second here. Yesterday, the Michigan Supreme Court ordered that a citizen invalid ballot measure seeking to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution to be added to the November ballot. The court's 5-2 ruling was issued the day before Michigan's ballot needs to be finalized on Friday, which is today. Police in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School in May, said they were investigating a shooting at Uvalde Memorial Park last night. 2 juveniles were injured and being treated at San Antonio hospitals. The Texas Department of Public Safety said that the shooting is suspected to be gang-related. In New Jersey news, a Warren Hills Regional High School 9th grader collapsed Wednesday afternoon during an athletic practice, but school personnel acted quickly and the student was flown to the hospital. Officials said yesterday that the student was brought by helicopter to Morristown Medical Center and is doing well. For Montclair news, street artist Jerkface finishes his wall in Montclair. SpongeBob SquarePants and Homer Simpson. It's a bunch of awesome cartoon art all meshed together, and it is currently takes place at 131 Glenridge Ave. And that has been your 8 a.m. newscast. And Ben, hi there.
Hello.
Hello. And we also have some sports.
Thank you, Lara. So on Thursday night, there was a ton of different sports to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about some professional sports and then even some Montclair sports. So we all know, if you're even remotely a little bit of a sports fan, that football finally kicked off on Thursday night with the Buffalo Bills visiting Los Angeles Rams on their ring ceremony night. The game was very close up to halftime with a 10-10 score, but then the Bills just had 21 unanswered points where the Rams just kind of could not get anything to click. And the Bills upset the Rams on their ring night. So now we'll move over to some professional baseball. The New York Yankees were in action against the Minnesota Twins, and the Twins at this point in the season need every win that they can get as they're fighting their way back up the AL Central Division after losing a hold on it to some of the other teams. And the Twins ended up winning a neck-and-neck game 4-3. And the New York Mets were off on Thursday, and they're traveling down to Miami to start a 3-day weekend series starting tonight. And finally, moving over to some Montclair sports, we had the men's soccer team in action all the way over in California to do battle against the Laverne Panthers. The Red Hawks were victorious, winning by a score of 1-0, and the lone goal scorer being senior defenseman Ian Chesney, his first goal of the season. Go Red Hawks. Back to Lara.
Go Red Hawks, you guys. And I've been informed that our time machine isn't really working, you guys. So don't worry, we're gonna give you our current weather as of right now. Here at the stunningly beautiful Montclair State, it is 63 degrees and sunny. Expect a high of 82 and a low of 60. So for tomorrow's Saturday, which is very fun, very fresh. We got a new weekend. It is going to be a high of 85 and a low of 59 with partially cloudy skies. Sunday, expect some showers with a high of 77 and a low of 65. Monday, we have 80% chance of thunderstorms with a high of 78 and a low of 67. And Tuesday, we also have a chance of storms again, but this time it's like 1 degree higher, 79 degrees and a low of 66. And as of Wednesday, it's going to be sunny again with a high of 80 and a low of 62. So Sunday through Tuesday, please make sure you have your umbrella on you at all times. With that being said, we have some national news to get to. So Stephen Bannon indicted surrenders to New York authorities to face money laundering and conspiracy charges. According to CBS News yesterday morning, former Trump advisor Steve Bannon was indicated to surrender to New York State prosecutors. He faces changes for his part in a Build the Wall group that raised millions of promises to build a wall alongside the U.S.-Mexico border, but allegedly pocketed some of those donations. The charges are 2 counts of money laundering in the 2nd degree, 1 count of conspiracy in the 4th degree, and scheme to defraud the 1st degree and conspiracy in the 5th degree. A lot of degrees here, guys. Bannon entered the courtroom handcuffed, but was smiling when he walked in. Bannon pleaded not guilty on all counts, and his attorney spoke on his behalf. Judge Juan Merchant, who is presiding over the case, also adjuncted the fraud and tax evasion case of Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisenberg. As a condition of release, Bannon must surrender his passport. As prosecutor says, Bannon has means to flee the country and a history of violating the law, a reference to his concept of Congress conviction. Bannon was found guilty in July of refusing to comply with the subpoena to appear before the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. And might I just say, you guys, I really believe that it's insane how the Trump presidency has ended 2 years ago, but still has such a immense hold on the country, and we're still experiencing the repercussions today.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the media is definitely eating this up. I mean, like you said, 2 years ago, we're still talking about this. I mean, more stuff keeps coming out every single day about Trump, whether that be the private records or now some of his closest people. You know, what can we say other than not surprising?
Amanda, and to our lovely listeners, I am tired of talking about this man and his little cronies as well.
Yeah.
Because it really just feels like an old men's version of Mean Girls, but with crime. That was the worst way to put it. I'm sorry.
No, but very accurate, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. But speaking of fake news, Amanda, we have a great story for you.
That we do. So we're going to be talking about New Jersey's disinformation portal to help decipher fact from fiction. According to News 12 New Jersey, the State Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness has added monkeypox information to its disinformation portal, a webpage intended to correct false information seen in social media posts. The retired FBI agent who runs the program spoke with News 12 New Jersey yesterday to discuss what his team decides is disinformation and what the office does about it and when they do. From Russia's war with Ukraine to monkeypox to the 2020 election, Hawk says that false and misleading information is easy to find online. Tom Hawk, Director of Intelligence and Operations for New Jersey's Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, says they run an online resource of factual information for New Jersey residents. It also scans social media posts. Hawk says the team looks for information that will incite violence. There's a threat to life, calls to action, certainly a nexus to terrorism. Hawk says that his office could, but has not done so yet, ask a social media company to take a post down it believes it's spreading disinformation. The Murphy administration set up the disinformation portal in 2020 as COVID-19 hit and fostered disinformation and conspiracy theories.
And that's just a theory, a buzz theory. For those of you who did not tune into spring of 2022 on Thursdays, our thing was saying, and that's just a theory, a buzz theory, because it's the morning buzz. Ha ha ha. So funny. But that's just what I heard when I heard conspiracies. So want to look into this fact checker more.
I do too.
Right?
I mean, there's a lot of misinformation that spreads, especially on social media nowadays. I mean, with Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all these social media platforms, people will take something and just run with it. When monkeypox first came into the picture, I was freaking out from all the things I saw on TikTok. So I'm happy that the disinformation portal is there so people can, go online and see, okay, this is actually not true. And I don't need to be freaking out as much as I am freaking out.
No, yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a whole other pandemic. I was like, what? And then like my friends would say, like they saw on TikTok and like social media that like it's really it's been in the world for a long time now, but now it's like sparking up again.
Mm.
So it's not as big as like we seem like that it's gonna be another COVID-19 pandemic. So that just scares me going back
Nowadays,
to
it's so
that.
easy just to make something look super real online, and it's really hard sometimes to even tell if something's fake. So it's going to be good to be able to hopefully get some answers.
I definitely agree with that. And I need to correct myself. It is not a fact checker. It is a disinformation portal, which is a fancy way of saying I find out what news is real and what is fake.
Yeah.
So, which honestly, I love it. And I'm also a little skeptical because according to the story, I don't see here's where my brain is at. I'm gonna take you guys into like the world of my brain right now.
A deep dive
A
into
deep-
Lara's brain.
I'm excited.
We should make that a little sound effect. Maybe I'll work on that soon. But what I'm just kind of thinking about right now is one, why isn't the link there? That's so strange. But then two, my brain went, oh, maybe it's not out yet. So we're gonna keep an eye out for that for you guys. But as of right now, it is 8:12 a.m. and you are still listening to the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. We're going to take a little short break here on the Morning Buzz because that was a lot of news, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back.
90.3 WMSC.
You guys, welcome back to the Morning Buzz. It's reported that our time machine is working again, so that's really great. We unfortunately don't have a TARDIS in studio. That's really sad, and I unfortunately am not with David Tennant, even though I wish I was. I was a big Doctor Who fan back in middle school. Anyway, welcome back to the Morning Buzz. We're going to have our very special segment with Nicole.
Yes, we have some fun, interesting stories about the news this week on entertainment. So the first one is Zac Efron addresses plastic surgery rumors. According to Pop Buzz in an interview with Men's Health, Efron opens up about what truly happened to his face due to some assumptions that he received plastic surgery. He explains that he accidentally slipped in his house and fell face first into the corner of a granite fountain. He ended up breaking his jaw and woke up with his shin bone hanging off his face. That is scary to me. That's insane. As a result of this, he had to do physical therapy, but stopped when he went to Australia. And this caused his muscles in his jaw to just get bigger, which results in why his face looks so different now. And people thought he got plastic surgery.
Sheesh. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. He does look different.
He does.
He
And I had
does.
such a crush on him. He was like my High School Musical, like first celebrity crush. And I got older. I'm like, what happened? And like, he's still good looking. It's just like his face really did change.
Troy Bolton.
Yeah, Troy Bolton.
Troy Bolton.
I was
We're-
shocked, to say the least, when I saw a picture of his face, because
Yeah.
my friends were talking about it. They were like, Zac Efron got plastic surgery, and I was like, you're lying. Why would Zac Efron need to get plastic
Yeah.
surgery? I go to his Instagram, and the picture was actually, not to be mean, Zac Efron, kind of like a jump scare. I genuinely was not expecting like his jaw and his lips to look like that. And I mean, while it is sad that he fell,
Oh,
is he
yeah.
just using this as a cover up, or did he actually get the plastic surgery?
Spoiler alert, Scott Cawthon's new game, Five Nights at Zac Efron, will be out soon. Just kidding. I'm literally just kidding.
Yeah, but pretty crazy. Honestly, I think he might have gotten the plastic surgery and he's just trying to cover it up because
it's a rumor. Like,
I feel like that's reasonable to get plastic surgery,
Yeah.
though.
True, but his plastic surgeon definitely needs to get fired. Is that mean to say? I don't know. I'm just being honest this morning.
You guys, just to give you guys a visual, for those who are not listening on Facebook, sorry, I am a whole jumble of words right now because I am standing. That's how much I can't stand. That's how much I'm like, snooze.
the energy, like you're just so obsessed with it.
My lovely hosts on Tuesday and Wednesday call me Little Gremlin,
Oh,
also known as Little Gremlin in the corner, because I produce in the studio and I have my little chair, and I'm
cute.
just a little gremlin, and that's the feral energy I'm having right now because oh my, you know what? The poor man, at least his face is impact.
yeah.
Like it's together.
At least it's like, because like hearing that like he woke up with like his jawbone off
Yeah.
his face. How is that possible? Like, what does that even look like? I don't even want to think about that.
I don't even want to think about it. And
like,
I don't-
what is that?
I don't-
That's terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to think about it. But let's just keep going.
Yeah. Another news story is Justin Bieber cancels his tour due to his health issues. This is another health problem. So, according to People News, Justin Bieber announced that he will have to unfortunately cancel the rest of the Justice World Tour due to his health condition. Earlier in June 2022, Bieber announced that he was diagnosed with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which is a rare disorder where half of his face is paralyzed. He performed 6 shows at the tour in Europe, however, got extremely exhausted and overworked from it. He tells his fans that he's going to prioritize his health right now and take a break from his tour in order to rest.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You might not know this, but
No, yeah.
I just want to put it out there. This might have been his second or third cancellation, and I feel bad for the
Yeah.
guy.
I know. Like, I feel bad that like he has to keep canceling.
I know. Like, I hope he finds
Like, find a way to like get
Some s-
better. Like,
gets
in
a
a way.
speedy recovery.
yeah.
But what one of our guest speakers said before, which is very true, is that sometimes celebrities are viewed as not human, like they're,
Mhm.
immune to everything. They're superheroes. But I'm glad that he's taking the time that he needs. I know some other,
Yeah.
I know like Shawn Mendes, he took a break for mental health because they just feel like sometimes they just want to keep going and going for the fans, but it's not personally what they want. It's what they want. Sometimes you just got to put yourself first. And I'm glad that he's doing that too. And of course, he's going to be back
Yeah.
better than ever.
I wonder when is mostly everyone going to decide that, oh, celebrities are people too, and they
Yeah.
deserve breaks, and they're just like us, they're human, and they get burnt out. They have medical problems because some people get really upsetty spaghetti when someone cancels due to a health reason or a mental health reason, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially on tour too. The conditions are ridiculous. They're performing night after night, traveling city to city, and when do they get a break? They sleep on,
Mhm.
a tour bus. That's most definitely not going to be the most ideal situation. So
With all of their team, with everybody.
exactly.
I don't know. I've never been on tour because I am not a musical artist, but I can only imagine the stress that him, the crew, and just everybody's going through. So he deserves a well-rested break.
Mhm.
Yeah, everyone deserves their self-care, even celebrities. They need that.
Yeah, I agree
Mm.
with you guys. Like you said, I was actually going to say, celebrities are not seen as people, but, they're people too. I know The Weeknd, actually, I just saw on TikTok a video. He actually went out on stage and said to his fans, listen, I cannot do this show for you guys tonight. I love you guys as much as I really want to do this. I am not physically able to do this tonight. And I heard a lot of like mixed reactions. A lot of people were like, thank you, like, for being so honest and there for us, and like, taking care of yourself and going on stage to tell us. But at the same time, people were like, I paid for this show. And it's like, you know what? Celebrities are people. Like, how would you feel if you were every single night on tour, on stage in front of millions, thousands of people, and you have to perform? That could be like a lot of wear and tear on
It's
your voice, and
exhausting.
it's exhausting. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
It definitely is. And not only that, but during, our time of being alive and what we have heard from other generations before us is that mental health was not a very common thing to talk about. And I'm glad in our age that people our age are more comfortable talking about mental health, and it feels that it just makes it more of makes the world more a little bit more of a safe space, and I feel like that's what we need.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Another story is Miranda Cosgrove reflects on being a child star. So this is also another like health thing because it's like mental health. So according to E! News, Cosgrove looks back on her experience with iCarly differently now as she gets older. On an interview with a podcast called Rain with Josh Smith podcast, she remembers not being able to have real high school experiences since she was a working actor on the show. She reflects on how much pressure she had growing up since she was a young actress, and it was hard to find her true identity in the midst of it all. She remembers going on social media and skipping through the positive comments and trying to find the one negative comment targeting her just because she was curious about what people thought of her. She looks back on this and realizes how bad it was on her mental health in her teenage years.
you know what? I'm very happy that the stars on Nickelodeon are speaking out
Yeah.
because they've gone through so much trauma, and
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine where to start, and I don't really want to get into too much detail about that. But again, making mental health a priority is amazing, and I'm so glad that we're able to do that. And I really feel bad for these people that really made our childhood.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. I feel so sorry for them because while they gave us amazing childhoods, running home to watch Victorious or iCarly
Yeah.
or Drake and Josh or whatever show you watched when you were a kid, they lost their childhood. They
That's the thing.
were
Yeah.
working for hours, like adults. And it's sad that they didn't get to experience those like high school moments like prom or graduation and all that stuff. I mean, they are famous, but being famous that young comes with a price. So I do feel bad for
And
them.
it is, I feel like it's easy to look from the outside in and be like, wow, they're a celebrity, they get to be on their own show, have all this money. But sometimes if you were to gain their perspective, I'm sure that they would want to be just like us, be able to experience a childhood and go to high school, that kind of stuff, instead of being trapped into this sort of celebrity life that they've gone into.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
I mean, I know Noah Schnapp, if any of you watch Stranger Things.
Yes. I
He's
love
going to
Stranger
UPenn
Things.
now. He's going to school. He was a lifeguard over the summer. So, he is one of those celebrities that tries as hard as he can to make his life seem as normal as possible. And I know that's super hard, especially when you have the spotlight on you 24/7. But, he's making the best of it. So Good for him.
I'm really happy for him, man, because not a lot of celebrities get to have that privilege, you know?
Yeah,
And-
that normal kid
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
Plus, like TVH, I love Noah Schnapp. Like,
Me too.
in my opinion, he's such like a little bean.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's like a little cute little boy.
He had
I
so many
know.
memorable moments throughout season 4.
Oh,
Season 4 is amazing, by the way.
Oh yeah.
season 4 is absolutely amazing. And if you want, please go check it out. It's a great show. It's just funny because now that you said Stranger Things, I'm not going to stop talking about it for a few minutes. I remember watching that show when I was about 14 years old in 2016.
Wow, was that long ago? Wow.
Yeah.
Don't make me feel
Going
old.
back on 2016.
Nicole, don't make me feel old.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. But it's really funny because in a way I kind of feel like I grew up with these kids
Mhm.
because I like, seasons
Grew up
came
with
out.
them as you
know.
watched the show.
Oh,
It's crazy to think
Oh.
that they're not still 12.
No, yeah.
No,
That's
seriously.
what's weird.
Amanda, and the weirdest thing, and you guys, the weirdest thing to me is that they're like the same age as me. So I'm like, oh, my little beans. No, they're the same age as me. That's a little weird. Some are older than me.
Yeah, I'm older than some of them, but that's a little like, oh wow, they're very successful. I'm 22 years old and they're famous, but
As Big Time Rush said, I wanna be famous. But we're not going to be playing Big Time Rush as of right now. We're going to be playing some Rex Orange County, which is one of my favorite artists. And I have been listening to his new album nonstop. So just to give you a little taste of the new album, this is Open a Window featuring Tyler the Creator. Let's hit it. Welcome back here on the Morning Buzz. You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. It is about time that we need some smiles. And we're going to be talking about my personal favorite, the weird news stories. To start us off, piping hot, we have Russia announces plans to open a bee museum in 2023. You guys, that's so funny because like we're called the Morning Buzz
Oh,
and bees. Ha ha ha.
Buzz.
So relatable.
So
Buzz
funny.
bee.
Guys, I'm just so quirky and relatable. Anyway, let's get to the news. According to BuzzFeed, not to get mixed up with the website BuzzFeed, Buzz space feed, says a museum dedicated to celebrating bees that is scheduled to open in 2023 in Russia. The Bee Museum will be operated from the city of Medin in the Medinsky district, the honey capital of Western Russia. This is according to a statement on Newsflash obtained by Ellen Merker, the director of Museum Exhibition Center in Medin, that plans to host the museum's collection in its space. The space appears to be aimed at showcasing the motherland's love for the fuzzy creatures along with bee-related activities such as beekeeping. Are you literally kidding me? Anyway, the city features 16 honeybees on its coat of arms and is situated on the river of Medinka. The museum's growing collection of bee paraphernalia by donated items that are in some way collected to beekeeping. This includes photographs, postcards, posters, tools, badges, clothing, magazines. Who reads magazines anymore? And household items related to bees and came after the college's region government. You guys, I love bees, but I'm scared of them.
I hate bees. I have a fear.
Nicole,
Really?
you're on a show called The Morning Buzz.
I'm sorry. Well, I mean, maybe I'll like start liking bees now because of the buzz. But like,
Apology video. No, I'm just kidding.
okay, yes, apology video. Okay, no, yeah, but like, even during orientation, I was online and a bee was in my hair and I didn't know. And some girl behind me goes, "There's a bee in your hair." I was like, "What?" I'm freaking out. But all right, that's my reason why I don't like bees. But this seems interesting, a bee museum. I don't think I would go. It would scare me. But I'll support bees for the buzz. But yeah.
That's so cute.
Bees are cute though. I feel like people always mix up like wasps and hornets
Oh,
and
that
yellow
scares-
jackets
oh
with
my God.
bees. Like those are terrifying. I'm also scared of them. If they sting me, I will cry, most likely.
Yeah.
But bumblebees, they're so cute and fuzzy and like they just mind their own business. You know, I kind of love them.
Me too, honestly. I was gonna say something. Oh, I have a weird bee news story. So this was last year,
Mhm.
and I was not a producer on the Morning Buzz, and I was getting ready to go to sleep. You know, put on my PJs, brush my teeth. Make sure to brush your teeth, everybody. PSA: please brush your teeth and also floss. It is very important. Dental health is extremely important. Anyway, that's your PSA. And I was putting on my sweatshirt, and I feel something tickle like on my stomach. I'm like, that's so weird. Maybe it's a hair from, my head because I shed like a golden retriever. So I lift up my sweatshirt and there is a at least 1.5-inch bumblebee crawling on my stomach.
What?
I know.
How did it get there?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. And it's funny, before that even happened, I was walking on campus and I was wearing some gray sweatpants. You know, we love a good gray sweatpant moment when the weather's just a little bit chilly and you're holding a nice pumpkin spice latte and the air has a little nip and the trees are just turning a beautiful shade of a warm color. Sorry, I love fall so
Coming up
much.
soon too.
Yeah.
I was so excited. But I was walking on campus, whatever, and I was wearing gray sweatpants and just a bee just flew on my sweatpants, chilling out with me for like 5 minutes. So I don't know why I kind of took that as a sign that the Morning Buzz is a thing that I was meant to do.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
supposed to be a
that's
part of it. The
cute.
bees were calling to you.
I know.
Yeah.
So my DJ name is now Queen Bee. Ha ha ha.
I would just like to say while we're doing this, I just saw on my laptop, my dad texted me and he says, "I love bees too." So I just thought I should just say that. We have some bee fans in the house.
We do.
I
It's a
need to
big-
become like a bee fan now.
You should. Honestly, my new thing has become bees just all of a sudden. Like ever since I started
Mhm.
producing the show. Oh, bees. Oh, I have a bee poster. Perfect. I have a plaque that says Queen Bee and it's sitting on my desk in my apartment.
Oh, that's so
So,
funny.
That's really cute. I was gonna that when like you want to say something, but then it just leaves your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really sad face.
That happens to me all the time.
Same.
I don't know. I just losing my train of thought. I'm gonna get sidetracked. You know what Inside Out? Have you guys seen Inside Out?
Yes.
Do you remember the train of thought? Like joy and sadness they're lost from the headquarters in her brain.
Yes.
And they're like deep in like the memory section and they're
That
trying
was so sad. No, that was so sad. It's so
Nicole.
emotional.
Nicole and listeners.
Mhm.
And of course, Ben and Amanda. I cry every single time I watch that movie.
No, like I don't like it. I haven't watched it since I don't even know when did that come out. Like it's so emotional. It's too sad. Like I don't like it.
I don't
It's
watch
like,
it willingly.
Yeah, like I will never be like I want to watch Inside Out. Like it's a good movie. It's just sad and it's like I don't like sad movies. Like
Disney has a way, Disney Pixar, they
Yeah.
have a way of making movies that will just make you bawl your eyes out. When I watched Coco for the first time, I lost my mind. I was bawling my eyes out for hours. I was like, this was the most emotional movie I've ever seen. And so, it was really a fantastic
Mhm.
film, though. So I went back to rewatch it, cried again. It's one of those movies that you can't help but
Consistent.
cry.
Definitely. Oh my gosh, you guys, guess what? I remembered what I was going to say. Maybe that's why we call it the morning buzz, because it's such a buzz. Bees are such a buzz. Ha ha ha. So funny. Not funny. Ha ha. Funny, weird. Anyway, I'm starting to lose my marbles a little bit. So, but Amanda, we're talking about pumpkin spice. We're talking about pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin spice. Please read before I go even more feral.
I am very excited. Me and Lara are definitely big fans of pumpkin spice. Finding out that shrinkflation, adorkable, subvariant, and even pumpkin spice are now officially in the dictionary might make you exclaim, yeet.
Before you say anything else, I know this story was written by a millennial. Please continue.
Oh, for sure, millennial vibes. But anyway, ICYMI, those are 5 of the 370 words and phrases that Merriam-Webster added to its dictionary this month. Oh yeah, ICYMI, short for, in case you missed it, was also added. Peter Sokolsky, Merriam-Webster's editor-at-large, said in a statement, quote, "Some of these words will amuse or inspire. Others may provoke debate. Our job is to capture the language as it's used. Words offer a window into our ever-changing language and culture, and we are only added to the dictionary when there is a clear and sustained evidence of use. Pumpkin spice, that polarizing blend of cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, and allspice that's used to flavor, well, just about everything in fall these days, has been around for years now, but is finally in the dictionary, and I am very excited about that. Many of the words are slang or used informally on social media. For those who don't know, yeet is either used to express surprise, approval, or excited enthusiasm, or as a verb to mean to throw, especially with force and without regard for the thing being thrown. This is hilarious probably to all of us in the room because yeet, that's just a funny word. The worldwide coronavirus pandemic has pushed terms once heard almost exclusively in medical circles onto everyone's tongue, including subvariant, booster dose, and emergency use authorization, which are all new dictionary entries. So we got a lot of new words.
Shout out to Facebook who just saw me part my hair the correct way. I don't know why. It was really just bothering me. So for those who are listening on iHeart, I hope you got a lovely visual. Oh my God. I'm sorry, I had to back away from the mic. Pumpkin spice makes me so feral.
Yeah, that part. I've gotten a pumpkin spice latte for the past 3 days in a row. Might I add, I should not be drinking coffee because it gives me anxiety. But pumpkin spice, let me tell you, I cannot go a day without it. And decaf pumpkin spice, I'm sorry, it just does not hit the same as normal caffeinated pumpkin spice.
I feel like the coffee kind of brings out the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the clove, the pumpkin, duh. But you guys, I haven't gotten to say this on air yet, but you guys are the first to hear, and our listeners out there, you're the first to hear that I, Lara Ziccardi, have gotten an espresso maker. I've wanted an espresso maker for so long, and this morning I made a Gran Lugo, which is a version of an espresso, and I had it with oat milk, vanilla oat milk, and pumpkin spice creamer. Did you guys know that Starbucks makes a non-dairy pumpkin spice creamer?
Oh, wow. There
Wow.
you go. So
Starbucks.
for all the
I'm-
people who can't have dairy, there you go.
Shout out to the very lactose intolerant people, also known as myself. But speaking of food, do you guys know one thing that I just really, really like?
Pumpkin spice.
No.
Oh.
I'm big, love knobs. I love corn. We're going to be talking about the famous, the famous corn kid. Everything has changed for 7-year-old Tariq when he slapped some butter on an ear of corn. He knew it tasted good, but butter, you guys, made it better. His passion for produce landed him a sweet gig last Saturday as South Dakota's official corn ambassador. Some people might see corn as just a starchy vegetable, and some may even say that it's corny. Tariq told an interviewer on the YouTube channel Recess Therapy last month that corn is a big, beautiful lump with knobs on it, and his favorite part is the juice that comes out of it when he's eating it. Tariq's profession of love for his favorite vegetable earned him the nickname Corn Kid after his interview racked up millions of views and was made into the song. The song that you have just heard at the beginning of the story was the one that went viral, you guys. Last Saturday, he was dubbed as South Dakota's official corn ambassador by Governor Kristi Noem, who declared September 3rd of 2022 official corn ambassador Tariq Day. It's funny because he traveled from New York to South Dakota to attend this very special day. It's corn.
Wow.
It's iconic. Also, I don't know if you saw, but he actually was just at the American Dream Mall a couple days ago
Get out.
for the new Mr.
Really?
Beast Burger. Yeah.
He was there. Here it
Yeah,
comes.
he was there for the new Mr. Beast Burger, which, by the way, that was insane. I didn't go personally, but I saw videos and pictures of the lines, and I was like, that's crazy to think that's just 15 minutes away from where we are right now.
Get out, because one of our members of the station, Artie,
I saw that.
Artie went to American Dream, and he said it was completely insane. We reported that on Tuesday, and I hope Mr. Beast made a burger with corn salsa on it and called it the Corn Kid Burger.
Oh, that's iconic.
Mr. Beast, I'm not saying he should, but he should maybe think about hiring me for his marketing team. I'm just kidding, kind of. But you know what? Corn is great. I can't. How do we describe corn?
Corn
A
is
big clump of
corn.
knobs.
Corn is corn. It's sweet with butter.
You guys, I'm not saying this should happen, but what if someone gives Corn Kid popcorn with, wait, hear me out, buttered popcorn, buttered movie theater popcorn?
He would lose his
Is there a
mind.
whole
Now
new
people
song
go
for that now?
crazy.
Yeah, they'll have to make a new song. It's popcorn.
It pops in your mouth. It has the butter. It
Yeah.
has the butter.
Again,
Yeah, well, it's a work in progress, people.
It definitely is.
coming soon.
But you know what's really corny? Circuses.
I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
There's probably corn at the circus.
popcorn.
Oh, you're right. For sure. So we're going to be talking about Florida State University. And yes, they have a circus. Let's talk about it. Florida, known for their beaches, Miami, Disney World, The Florida man. And a college circus? Yep, you heard that right, folks. Florida State University has a circus with a cast of FSU students. According to their website, the Florida State University Flying High Circus was founded in 1947 by Jack Haskin. It's considered an extracurricular activity under the Division of Student Affairs. This program was created to integrate men and women when FSU became a co-ed institution and is still an activity for male and female students to participate in jointly. The only requirement to be a member of the FSU Circus is that one must be a degree-seeking student registered at FSU. Rivaling a professional circus, the FSU Circus is primarily an aerial and stage presentation with 3 rings of spellbinding entertainment for everyone. Flying High has no animal acts. Student performers rig all of their own equipment, sew their own costumes, produce lights and sound for their performances. They also set up a huge tent on campus. To become a part of the circus, students must audition. Auditions occur in the beginning of each fall semester.
You guys, here I have the looming question you may listeners might be asking yourselves, or I could be completely off, but this is what I'm asking myself. Should MSU have a circus?
Yes.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Without a doubt. I was just thinking we should have a circus.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right? I mean, there'd be cotton candy, which I like. I mean, you can get cotton candy anywhere, but I don't know. I feel like we really should have a circus. Like, we could have like really cool
It could be like
acts.
another event because they've had like their carnivals. Now it's like circus time, you know?
Yeah,
Maybe.
it would
And
be kind of
and
cool.
that's just a
Fun.
theory. A buzz theory.
Circus.
And
But can you imagine Rocky doing like that?
for those of you
That would be so funny.
For those of you who don't know, Rocky is our mascot here at Montclair State University. And here I'm going to pose the most important question I probably asked. What will Rocky's act be?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question.
Oh,
And while he is a
wow.
bird, so that makes me think like some type of act in the air, like some aerial silks or like something with the rings.
Shot out of a cannon.
Yes, yes, he would be shot out of a cannon.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys another question. Do you guys know who Ricky is?
Is that Rocky's brother?
It's Rocky's cousin.
Oh, like I don't know the family tree on that. I gotta look that up.
My gosh. You were not here during the spring because Nicole, you were just graduating.
I was
this-
graduating.
Yeah,
Prom, graduation. Yeah.
cute.
Cute.
Senior week.
Cute little senior vibes.
And the Montclarian are neighbors over here in the
Mhm.
School of Comm who do the newspaper. Somebody wrote a fan fiction about Rocky and
Are you
his
kidding?
sister. It was a joke. It was for April Fools.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, there's no doubt in my mind that it is probably on Wattpad.
Really?
I don't know. I just have
I
just have
kind
a
of want to
feeling.
read it.
I'll send you the article later,
Okay.
Nicole. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll read that.
For the listeners, if you feel the need to check it out, it's called the Montclarian. It's somewhere, TBH.
Mhm.
But that's only if you want to. I'm trying to think if somebody else would have an act here.
Hmm.
You guys, President Capel should have an act. If this is actually a thing, I think President Capel would kill it. He
Yeah.
would do amazing.
Yeah, maybe he can sing or something. I don't know. Does he
Yeah,
have a good
like a
voice?
special talent or
You
something.
could just lead it, like be the
Yeah.
ringmaster.
Yeah, he would be the ringleader.
That makes so much sense. That makes
the
so much
circus
sense.
Directing
master.
everything.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, President Capel is officially getting inaugurated next Thursday
Mhm.
on the, I believe, let me find this out for sure, the 15th. So that is next Thursday. So here on WMSC, we are going to be covering the entire thing. So please feel free to tune in that time and all that fun jazz. But also, we're also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're also airing Dr. K's Vinyl Fantasy Funhouse, which is Dr. Capel's show where he plays vinyl.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
It is.
nice.
So shout out to President Capel and congratulations for the inauguration. And there's 2 people that were not lucky And if they were sitting in our circus, I think we would have kept them. But 2 people were removed from the big game tennis edition because the actual name is copyrighted, ladies and gentlemen. But 2 people were removed from the big game tennis edition quarterfinals after one gave the other a haircut in the stands. Yep, you heard that right. According to CBS News, there was quite a hairy situation at the big game tennis edition. As 2 men stay in the stadium seats, there was a cut short after one buzzed the other's head in the stands during the quarterfinals. They had clippers and the sort of cape a barber usually uses to keep a customer clean. The tournament security removed the 2 from the match. U.S. Tennis Association Brendan McIntyre said, quote, "When someone saw it, security went to the 2 individuals. They were escorted out of their seats and then off the grounds for disruption of play. There's a first time for anything, folks." Okay, this is what I want to know. I'm sure these 2 are friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think a stranger would just give someone else a buzz
Probably.
cut.
Yeah.
Also happened before. The same people did it at a basketball game, I believe.
Really?
You're joking. I'm
It
looking
was last season. I think it was a Timberwolves game.
Wow.
I'm looking this up right
I
now.
just saw that they did it again at the tennis match.
Basketball haircut.
Wow, the more
in
you know.
stands. All right. YouTube star
Gideon, I believe.
Gideon Tomato. So sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Really got his haircut at the Timberwolves game. The article says, no, seriously, it happened. We're
Won't
gonna.
happen again. So
I mean, second time's the charm. The USA Today is going feral. They say, quote, "First of all, bro is basically bald. Why is he getting a cut? As a fellow bald man, of course, you have to do the beard. But to have the top of your actual head being cut like that in the middle of a game, that's wild." And it continues with, quote, "Second, how are the people next to him not nipping this in the bud at the moment? It's impossible for hair not to go everywhere. That's why there's space between the chairs and the bar. That's why there's space between the chairs in the barbershop. Those people are sitting right next to him." This was all according to an article from USA Today in March 26th of this year. And you know what? This journalist poses a great question, does he not? Because how would you feel watching a basketball game, watching a tennis match, and the guy next to you is just getting a free cut? The one
Absolutely, yeah. Especially if you're paying a lot of money and then that's what you have to sit next to. I'd be very upset.
as someone who's like really not into sports, no offense, but I found this a little more exciting than the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Right. Why? I mean, I like sports, but if I saw that, I feel like I'd be cracking up.
You
No,
guys,
me too. Like I'm like not into like watching sports. Like I like I'm sorry. No, but like
this is why we have
like,
Ben. He educates us
we
on the
need
sports.
Ben. No, yeah, because I went
Thank
to a
I
Yankee
got you.
game and literally like I would just be distracted by the things going on in the stands and on the actual field. So if someone like was taking a haircut, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like,
I
what you
think
doing?"
that some funny events like that sometimes are good because it gains publicity for sports, even if like non-sports watchers are like, "Oh, look at this guy, he got a haircut at a basketball game that you never see that before," so it gets more people tuning in. So
And look at that, we're talking about it right now. And I just looked at the photo because yes, there is photo evidence as we live in the age of social media. So this is exciting. The cape that he has on has the Louis Vuitton logo on it, like
Ooh.
all over it.
bougie.
That's
Right?
so funny. I'm looking at the picture and he really is like going in on this haircut.
I want to know, I'm also going to look at the other article. It has to be the same people, right?
I believe so.
Oh, yep, it's the same people.
Oh, so this is gonna be like their brand. Like that's their thing.
Mhm.
They're gonna be known for like the 2 guys that give each other buzz cuts at sporting events.
But like, here's the thing. He's not getting like a haircut. He's getting like a beard trim.
Mm.
Oh.
So
Well, this time he actually had more hair. I believe the first time he didn't have that much hair, but this time he had more hair, so they were able to do an actual like buzz of his head.
Give them a shape up.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. In the most recent photo, homie's
yeah. I think
still
they just
bald.
buzzing.
That took a long time for me to process. That's really embarrassing for me.
What, that he's bald?
Yeah. But the haircut that he got was to shave his head. It's been an off day for me, you guys. But I'm trying to see. Oh, he doesn't have the Louis Vuitton cape on that one. That's really sad face.
Sad face, but this might be their new thing. Maybe at the next sporting event they'll be there.
Do you think he gave him a tip? Sorry.
Who knows
That
what
is
else we'll see at
so
sporting
true.
events in the future? What
Ooh.
crazy things will happen?
Maybe the guy who's getting his haircut paid for his ticket.
Oh,
Oh, see, there you go.
okay. That's good. That's nice.
That's fair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know why he would pay. He literally was bald. Like, there's nothing to really cut. So, I wouldn't.
How do
I
you
feel
get
like,
into the stadium with buzzers and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
oh yeah, that's actually a good question. How would they bring that in? I don't know if all sporting events have metal detectors and whatnot, but I feel like they would
Or
be
you
like,
check your bags or something.
And I did it twice too. So I don't know.
They see your bags and they're checking them twice, apparently. But I really, sorry, this is comical. This is comical. Ooh, we're gonna theorize for a second. Where do you think they're gonna do it next? If they do it next.
well, I mean, they just hit up the tennis game.
Mhm.
They did basketball first. I mean, football season's coming up, so it has
Maybe
to
there.
be
Yeah.
a football
Maybe
game.
they'll go big, and then maybe the Olympics when they come back.
Can you imagine?
Ooh, wait. Do you know if it's the summer or winter coming up?
It would be the winter,
Winter?
I believe.
Perfect.
No.
Because
Winter, yes.
winter. Okay. Because perfect. If that is the case, I think they should do it at a curling match for the Olympics. Anyway, you have been listening to the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're wishing you a very, very good day. And along with that, some good vibes. We're going to end off our show with, I had the song in. We're going to be ending off the show with some ABBA. So please enjoy.